This is the Rolling with Tay podcast. I'm your host, Tasia, aka Tay, and this is episode 3. And I have Carlos, also known as DJ Worldwide, and the Line Dance Prince. He's also a podcaster, a cyclist, and a kayaker. Welcome to the podcast, Carlos.
What's up? Thanks for having me.
Just before we started, I told him that we haven't met in person. We've known each other for maybe a year via Strava and then became Instagram friends. And this is our first time speaking.
Yeah.
So it's
So you
nice.
got a lot going on. I was like, I gotta be a part of this thing. I said, because you do a lot of stuff too. You know what I'm saying? Not the, shameless plug or whatever, toot your own horn, but you do a lot of stuff too. So it's like, it's not too many people on Strava that I follow that do multiple things on Strava.
Yeah.
They're either runners or they're cyclists or they just skate. You do like everything.
Thank you. I appreciate it. And again, thank you for being a guest on my podcast. I really appreciate it. So
awesome first season too, by the way.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Yo, this season 2, which you're on, is gonna be pretty dope too. So let's jump right into it. And how did you begin your cycling journey as an adult?
I was kind of looking for some activity to get into during the beginning of the pandemic. Gyms were shut down. I'm in Richmond, Virginia. Well, you're from New York, so everything was shut down for you guys. But
yeah,
I was going through a separation of my marriage, needed an outlet, and I saw cycling on social media. It was a group called Urban Cycling that was, because pandemic was a crazy time. We also had the social justice stuff going on, and they were hosting all of these rides, like Breonna Taylor rides and the different stuff of that nature. So I actually went out to one of those rides, and it was pretty cool to be that many colored people on bikes, and for good causes and stuff like that. And I just kept going to their events, and eventually I became a member, and then I was hooked. And
nice.
From there.
Nice. So then, since I follow you on Strava and Instagram, what made you want to take it to like leading rides? Because now it went from you like cycling and then like cycling with the group and solo cycling to now you're leading group rides.
That's the me. That's me. Like, I'm an all or nothing kind of person. So I don't know how to just participate, right? I don't know how to do that. So usually when I start doing something, I'll be participating and then I'll see ways to make something better. And then somebody might not want to make it better. And then I'll be like, okay, I'll do it. And so I saw opportunities. A lot of people are intimidated by cyclists. They want to ride, but they don't want to ride, right? So I thought the only way to grow this sport for, the African-American people is to be that person to like hold their hand at the entry level. And so I started hosting group rides for beginners. And it's like beginner. So like when people would come, I would go over safety, because people will come out there with a bike and that's it. Like the bike been sitting in the garage for 8 months. The tires low. They ain't got no helmets. You know what I'm saying? So I got like 20 helmets now. So people come up, I'll give them a helmet this time and tell them next time I had to bring your own helmet. I might supply gloves. We'll talk about PSI on the tires and trail etiquette, road safety. This is all before we even get on the bike. And then I'll assess, their ability to ride, because some people really can't ride. And then we hit the trail. And so, but that doesn't exist in a lot of places I go. You either like a recreational cyclist or you're a elitist. There is no like the in between, there is no like in between, and the beginner range sucks in the cycling world. So,
Yeah, I know what you're talking about, and that's really dope that you did that.
mm,
Because I see that too, where you either have to. You're right. There's no like even like the middle ground of cycling. Like you just most of these people haven't been on a bike in years.
correct, years.
Years.
Mm,
So then they're trying to figure out what type of cycling they want to do. Is it just the recreational, like, hey, I want to just,
yeah.
ride, or do I want to get serious and ride and join these organizations? So that's really cool that you did that for, people in your community. And is that how you got on the Richmond Magazine cover?
Correct, because they were highlighting our groups like beginner rides at the parks and stuff like that, and showing people, that there's an organization out here helping people to become a cyclist or get into cycling. Because you got to imagine, everybody rode bikes when they was kids, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you see a cycling group, you're like, okay, I'm gonna come out there and ride with y'all. And that's what people invite you, like, come on out and ride with us. And then you show up with your mountain bike, right? And
Yeah.
it's like everybody got road bikes.
Yeah.
Everybody got helmets and kits on, and you know, electric pressure gauges, and all this stuff. And you just like, okay, what did I get myself into?
It could be
And
intimidating.
yeah, very much so. And everybody's not worrying about you. Like, you just show up and everybody ready to ride, and you think you ready to ride. And so, I try to fill that void of that, scenario.
Yeah, that's
So
really dope. That's really dope. Um, so going back to Strava, I see a lot of you've done how many century rides, and then how many solo century rides?
I've done 10 century rides, and I've done 7 solo century rides.
Kudos to you. That is super cool. So I haven't done a solo century ride. So what is your mindset like doing a solo century ride? And do you intend on doing a century ride when you go out in the morning? Or is this something that's just like, well, I'm already at 70 miles out. I
Oh
might as
no,
well just do
I've never accidentally walked myself into a century.
a.
When I woke up, I already knew I was doing a century. You got to be mentally prepared for that. You just
Mm-hmm.
can't. I mean, I only need one day, but when I woke up that day, I'm always going to know I'm doing a century. It's easier for me to do a century solo because I care too much about other people. So when I do centuries in a group, I find myself waiting up for people, you know, helping people change their flat tires, or on the flip side, going at a pace that I think I really can't maintain for a century.
Mm-hmm.
So when I go by myself, I don't have to worry about keeping up with nobody or getting dropped, or I don't have to worry about leaving someone.
Yeah.
And so I can stay in my own little mind frame, keep a pace that I like, that I feel like people say I can ride forever. When you
Mm-hmm.
get in that little space, I can stay in that space, and it makes it easier for me to complete a century ride.
Mm.
I think centuries are more about pace than anything.
Yeah.
People get intimidated by a distance like 100 miles. If you're going a pace that you can maintain, distance really isn't an issue. So, when you ride by yourself, you control everything, the pace, how many times you stop, how many times you don't stop, whatever. You controlling the whole narrative of that ride.
You're right. Yep. I haven't done like I said, I haven't done a solo century, but just when I ride by myself, it's less pressure on me. Like you said, like I don't have to worry, and I do enjoy group rides, but
Yeah,
it's
me too.
nothing like that solo ride where you're like, all right, well, maybe I'll go this way, or maybe I can do an extra 5 miles
Mhm.
of riding, or maybe I'll explore this way, So I do really enjoy the solo rides just as much as I do the group rides.
Yeah,
But
I'm social as hell. I
mm-hmm.
I love group rides. I'm super social, and that's kind of probably the main reason why I joined the group that I joined.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a time and place for everything. I feel like when you're a super extrovert like myself, you also need that time to kind of like build yourself back up and that me time, and you exert so much to the community, you got to get it back.
Yeah.
You know?
What motivates you to get on your bike and ride?
Stress.
Mm-hmm.
The everyday life is like my giveaway. You don't have bills on the trail, right? You don't have I don't have to worry about feeding my son on the trail, or like I don't have to worry about you know current relationship status, or anything. I'm just out there riding, enjoying the scenery, the view. I live in Virginia, so we got a lot of scenic stuff, rivers and mountains and all that. So it's nice to ride out here and get out. So
Yeah. No, I agree with you. Getting on your bike is, I've said this before, I feel a little stressed or anxious. I can get on my bike and that I'm I'm focused on riding, and seeing what's
hmm
around me, and I can't really focus on anything else because I'm focused on this car, this person, uh, making sure I don't hit that pothole, or I have so much other stuff to focus on, and just enjoying the ride versus me focusing on the stress or any anxiety or any problems I may have. You know, when I get on a bike, that kind of disappears, at least for that time being, and gives me time to think. So I totally.
it's a good way to
Yeah.
travel too when you
Oh
going
yeah.
to different towns.
Yeah.
Uh, a lot of times, like if you go, say somebody comes visit New York, and they might, drive everywhere. It's not the same experience as on a bike though. Like I would love to experience New York on the bike. I feel like that'd be the ultimate, you know, way to experience it. Because it kind of slows it down, even though your city is busy as hell. It slows it down for you a little bit, so you can kind of appreciate stuff that you wouldn't appreciate normally. And so,
Listen, just let me know when you're ready. Over the summer, I did tours with Tay with my friend Shaddy. Shout out to him.
I
And
seen it.
it
Yeah,
used listen, just let me know, and I'll take you all over New York City on a
yeah.
bike.
Because I did this year. I think I did Miami, Atlanta, did Baltimore, DC, LA,
Wow.
and it's a different. And I've been to all these cities before, but usually travel in on cars or Uber taxis, but on a bike, like it's a whole different experience. You know, so New York's
So,
on the list.
all right. So when you went to these places, did you take your own bike or did you rent bikes?
I rented uh in Miami and LA.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess the further away, I guess. And
Yeah.
everywhere I drove to, I took my bike. So I drove everywhere else. I drove to Atlanta for the One Love
Mm-hmm.
event, and then the Baltimore night rides. I went like 3 of those. That was awesome. Like 500 cyclists out there.
Wow.
Um, yeah, I drove to the DC and Baltimore, and but the LA and Atlanta, or LA and Miami, I rented, which is a lot easier. I actually, when you rent, you probably end up getting a better bike than you actually own.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, hell yeah, let's rent a bike, a bike that I can't afford.
Right.
Yeah.
So when you go on these cycling adventures, these trips, is it solo or do you go with people from your cycling organization?
Um, most of the time, honestly, it's solo.
Mm-hmm.
One Love, I went with a buddy of mine, and the Baltimore one, I went with my group. Well, a few people after I went a couple of times, and they saw the video footage. They was like, "Oh, we got to go next time." And then they came with me. You know how we do as a culture.
Yeah.
A lot of times, people got to see it first, and then they'll be like, "Oh, I want to go." And then you got, the same thing with Miami. I'm supposed to be putting a trip together for us in Miami in March because the people get tired of seeing me down there like once a month. Like, hold on now. What's going on down Miami? I want to ride down Miami too. And so, but most of my stuff is solo because I don't like waiting for people to do stuff. And you travel the world, you know how it is. People back out on you and they ain't got the money to go, so you just got to go, man.
No, you're right. You're absolutely right. I feel you.
Yeah.
But that's really cool. And that's a great way to build your network of other cyclists because
Correct. Correct.
because we see them on like clubs like on Facebook groups like the Black Cyclist.
Correct.
But it's nothing like actually riding with them and meeting them, So
yeah, One Love was crazy. I like met everybody that I like was like either borderline like groupie type status or like people that you just would like always follow as far as like the different things they were achieving. It was like to meet them and talk to them and be like, oh my God, like you're a real person.
Yeah.
Like it's so cool to actually encounter those people.
Yeah. Definitely. Definitely. What do you enjoy most about cycling?
What do I enjoy most? Probably would say the social aspect. Even with strangers, people you encounter on the trails or on the streets, talking people through stuff, motivating them to go a little bit harder or they can make it. It's just so I'm so social, so I have to say the social aspect.
Yeah, I can agree with that. And I'm not as social. I'm not, but I do like having this community of cyclists.
Correct.
Is so dope. And I say the same thing with the skating community. Like this bonds us. And even when I did like centuries, I don't know this person's name, but just we're riding a little bit of the stretch together and we're having a conversation. Like, hey, where you from? Hey, I'm from New York. Where you from? Oh, I'm from LA to come out here to do like that is so cool to me,
Yeah.
I'll never see that person again. Maybe not. I don't know. Or when I do like you said on like social media, Strava, you meet someone like, hey, how you doing? I follow you on Strava. Like, oh, for real? Like having that
it's a real thing. It's so real. That's a real thing.
Yeah.
Man.
So yeah.
We was in Atlanta and a girl came up to me. She was like, "Are you Carlos?" And I was like, "Yeah." So I follow you on Strava. I was like, "Oh, okay, cool, yeah." And we started talking and everything. And next thing you know, she giving me and my homeboy a ride back to our hotel with our bikes and everything. You just like I don't know you. You know what I'm saying? I don't know you, but it's kind of like that's how the community is. And I probably, like I said, I did 10 centuries, and every single ride, like if I took a break somewhere or like stopped on the side, every ride, there's people passing me saying, "You good? You okay?
Yeah.
You straight?" Like these people don't know me. You know what I'm saying? And they just like literally pull up on you like, "Are you good? You straight? You need a tube? Anything?" And that right there is priceless.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I totally agree. And even just pedestrians like walking by when I'm on trails, waving to me, good morning. It's just like, wow. Or even if you are stopped or I'm stopped or something and somebody, hey, yeah, what type of bike is that? Or I used to ride, So
the conversations.
Yeah, the community is definitely, I can definitely see that as being an enjoyment.
And then there's a handful of assholes out there now.
Oh yeah, of course.
They do exist. It's not always peachy creamy out there, but they do exist. But for the most part, it's a lot of good people out there on the highways and byways, So.
Yeah. Of course. There's assholes in every group setting. There is.
Yeah, you got your ultra elitists, that you in the way. No matter what you're doing, you just in the way. And then you got, people that walk that think they own it, for the most part, it's definitely a great community.
Yeah.
I'm gonna keep it right there.
Yes. So let's switch gears a little bit and talk about kayaking. Like, what
Mhm.
sparked your interest in kayaking?
Well, I'm an overall athlete, and I've always done a lot of stuff, but I've never, like, I'm either an all or nothing kind of person, like I said at the beginning. So I never really did my all in with kayaking. And so I would do it like, you go on vacation and you like, okay, they got kayaks available, okay, let me get the kayak. But every time I've done it, I've really, really enjoyed it. Plus, I love being on the water. I'm a cruise addict, so I take like 3 or 4 cruises a year. So just being on the water in general is a lot for me. My dad was in the Coast Guard for 20 years. So I water. And it's also exercise. And so this year I've been all in with cycling, which is like ab and core exercise. So I started incorporating kayaking to kind of work my arms in a way that's not like working out like traditional gym stuff.
Yeah.
That's kind of what cycling is for me. We can all go to the gym and get on the treadmill or whatever, but it's not like cycling out in the world.
Yeah.
And kayaking is the same thing. I could do an arm exercise and still be out and about and see the world and the beauty that the earth has to offer. And so I bought a kayak. I was like, okay, and I actually did a century ride where I did 50 miles down and they had a park at the end. I kayaked for, about 4 or 5 miles and then got back on my bike and did the other 50 back, So, it was like the ultimate workout, cycling, kayaking, bringing it together. But there's a lot to kayaking like cycling that I do not know. And terminology, strategies and stuff like that. And so this year coming up, I'm going to, the same way I tapped into cycling this year, I want to tap into kayaking next year and basically master it and become elite in this new thing.
Nice. And I never looked at kayaking as replacing or I guess I don't know if I would say replacing, but a substitute, I guess, of you going to the gym.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you definitely working that body. What? Shoulders, biceps, your back, core, everything be burning up on that thing. Everything but your legs, basically. And I feel like I spent a lot of my life overdoing one thing a lot. And I feel like now I value my time so much that I feel like, okay, 2021 was cycling. I went from riding 5-mile rides to 125-mile rides. You know what I'm saying? I've done, 20-mile rides, 19, 20 miles an hour. You know what I'm saying? Oh, I've cycled. You know what I'm saying? I consider myself a cyclist. But there's so much stuff to learn out here, so much stuff to experience. And so next year will be kayaking. And I'm pretty sure after that, it'll be something else. I think skating's next. I did a little bit of skating this year. I had a little accident where somebody broke my skates at the skate rink a few months ago. I haven't been back since. Because, with any sport, it gets expensive. You got to buy all this stuff. And
it does.
I can only afford to spend money on one sport per year like that. So, but yeah. So it's just a year of kayak next year.
So, okay, so we know your kayaking goals for next year. Are there any cycling goals for next year?
Just to get people out. So like we said, a lot of people didn't travel last year. Everybody in my group wants to go to One Love in Atlanta next year because they didn't go last year. They seen the videos, my YouTube video I put out. They're like, oh man, I gotta go. I gotta go to One Love. I gotta go to One Love. All right. So just trying to get our people out and cycling and experiencing it and outside of their comfort zone. I don't really have any personal goals. I'm not setting no miles goals next year. Like I said, I'm still gonna be a part of the community. I'm still gonna host my beginner rides, but no, that's pretty much it.
All right, that's what's up. Yeah, I do want to go
traveling a little bit. I'll be in New York. I'll be in New York.
All right. You let me know. I want to do One Love as well. So hopefully I'll see you down there.
It's epic. Tell me.
I watched your video and I watched a whole lot of other videos and looked
and
at pictures and I was like,
a lot of stuff. I tell people this all the time. A lot of stuff from those videos are not shown.
Yeah.
Like, so the social aspect really isn't being shown. Like, they have a lot of stuff that goes on after the rides. Like, I remember that Thursday ride, the very first ride, we met. The meeting space was like a bar, outdoor bar / restaurant. We had like food trucks and stuff. And that's where we really got to meet a lot of those people that we were talking about, people that you've always followed on Facebook, on Strava and stuff. And to me, that part is actually better than the cycling experience. Like, just chilling with people. Like, we're not talking bikes and none of that stuff. We just like, who are you as a person? What do you do for a living? Talking, just chilling with these people. And it was a lot of that pretty much every day, before the rides or after the rides and stuff. And so that's what the name is perfect. One Love, So just definitely got to get down there. I'm promoting it like it's my event. One Love, come on now, make me some money. One Love, yeah. Like, no, but it is really nice.
Yeah, and it makes it more enjoyable,
Correct.
And then connecting with people off the bike and see what you have in common with them other than cycling,
Yeah.
So I really do like events like that. Siegel was like that.
I was so mad I missed that.
I was super amped. Like, I saw people that I follow on Strava, and then I saw people that I knew, and I was just like, this is so dope. Like, yeah. So I could only imagine what One Love is like.
4 days.
Yeah. If I do go, I'll probably do try to go down there for the whole weekend, because, most of these cycling events, they have rides starting Thursday and they go all the way
to yeah. And it's Memorial Day weekend, so Labor Day weekend. So that Monday, you got to even on Monday. Like, God damn. We still ride. But yeah, it's pretty cool. And I feel like I'm talking like I'm not gonna be cycling that much next year. And the more I be talking about this, I'm like, you know what? I'm probably. I don't know.
Look, you just gotta balance. You just gotta balance it, because that's what I plan to do with skating. Like, I want to skate more, get back into it, skate more. Yeah. But I also want to cycle more. So I'll just find that balance.
I think it's gonna be more me cycling out of town. I thought probably ease up on the local scene. That's what I'm thinking. And then see, because y'all got the 5 borough ride. That's what we were talking about, doing that.
Yeah.
That really gets me excited. Like, to see roads actually shut down for that.
Yeah.
That sounds pretty cool. Have you done that?
Yes, I've done it in 2019.
Is it nice? Is it overrated, or does it live up to the expectation?
I mean, it is nice. It rained when I did it, and I was like, "What the hell?" And then it stopped raining after I was done, and I was like, "Just get me out of here." But no, I had a good time. A lot of people. The only thing that sucked really was the rain.
Oh, okay. All right.
And it was cold. So, other than that,
that sounds kind of bad right there. Cold and rainy.
Cold
Don't sign me up for that. Okay.
But listen, I was determined to do it, and I was like, and I'm glad I did it, because 2020 hit. All right, cool. how can people find out more about you and all the dope stuff that you got going on?
Follow me on Instagram at _ DJ Worldwide _ and I got everything. I'm trying to. I had like multiple pages. I'm trying to like put everything on that one page now because I hate sending people here for this and here for that and here for this. Just follow me at the DJ Worldwide page _ DJ Worldwide, and my whole life is on there. Line dancing, to cycling, to kayaking, to being a dad, to my little sense of humor. That's laugh at me a little bit. Don't never take me serious, please. Never take me serious. That's pretty much it.
All right. Yeah. I really appreciate you again for doing this interview and hopping on the podcast, being one of my guests. And I look forward to following your journey and your kayaking journey.
Yeah, that's going to be fun.
As well as,
Do you kayak? You kayak?
I've done it one time. Mm-hmm.
But first of all, let's take this back. You're black. Do you swim?
I do not know how to swim.
Okay, so I think that might have an influence on you not kayaking right there, probably.
Oh, you know what? I just never thought about it because that wasn't something that, like, yeah. I mean that
because you're a world traveler. It's not funny to be a world traveler that doesn't swim, that's been in a kayak once.
And then like I have dreams about like, yeah, I want to. You know how people swing off a branch and then jump in the water, like I want to do that, but I'm like, well, Tasia, you don't know how to swim, so. Even I can put a life vest on, it's not the same. So that's one of my goals this year next year is to learn how to swim.
Yeah, I feel like water to me, traveling and water are like go hand in hand. And it's like a lot of people, they travel, we see people on the rafts in Jamaica, or they kayaking in Turks and Caicos, or they parasailing in Miami. It's always water, jet skis, and we got to get you learning how to swim. I
know. That's the goal for 2022. I mean, I'll do a water sport in a minute, but then I'm just like, you can't swim. So I think about stuff. And I'm going to tell you, when I did get in the kayak, it's my cousin and I, we were in Vietnam. And I'm just like, Lord, please don't tip this over, because even though I have this life vest on, please. I'm not gonna lie, I was a little scared, but I was like, all right, this is kind of cool. Like, this is all right. So, yeah, maybe I'll try it in 2022.
Okay.
Yeah. You're inspiring me. I look at you on Strava. I was like, he out here. You got your son out there on the kayak. I'm like, that's pretty dope.
Yeah, he took swimming lessons. I had him in swimming lessons when he was like 10 months. We started him early.
Nice.
That's just a community, a black thing. We got to get our people to change our old ways and get advanced out here.
Yeah.
So that's part of that.
That's what's up. Well, thank you again. And this is the Rolling with Tay podcast. I'm your host, Tasia, aka Tay, and I'll see you on the next one. One more Rolling with Tay podcast? Well, follow on Instagram and Twitter at Rolling with Tay. Visit the blog rollingwithtay.wordpress.com for more content, and be sure to sign up for the monthly newsletter. And lastly, subscribe to the YouTube channel Rolling with Tay.